A concept on damage monitoring in micro and micro perspectives. A concept of an integrated damage monitoring and assessment system was proposed, referred to as macro and micro perspectives, Figure 1. The macro perspective performs comprehensive damage detection using image processing technique with satellite or aerial image. In addition, damage estimation in the aftermath of a disaster should be included in the perspective. The micro perspective, on the other hand, gathers individual damage information from a local site using several sensing devices, receiving emergency calls from sufferers, and sharing information about rescue operations. Thus, the damage monitoring system needs to handle several types of information based on macro and micro perspectives. Multi-tier networks described in this paper play a critical role for the micro perspective. A concept of damage monitoring and assessment in a large-scale natural disaster based on macro and micro perspectives. Cellular networks in a disaster. The third generation, 3G, mobile system SHAVE provided the performance of up to 2 megabits per second and various services in application systems. Furthermore, current LTE, long-term evolution, and LTE advanced systems are providing a broadband mobile communications, leading to the fourth generation, 4G, cellular system, which should operate at the data rate of 100 megabits per second or more. Since the latest mobile networks are challenging to provide a high data rate and a high capacity, those systems are required to operate at a higher carrier frequency and a large peak transmission power. A concept of virtual cellular system has been studied and achieved to reduce the average transmission power compared with conventional cellular systems. Thus, the current mobile systems have been developed focusing on high data rate and high capacity, under the policy of the best effort performance in ordinary conditions. However, in a disaster, it is strongly required for the communication systems to ensure connectivity even if difficult. In the past, immediately after a large-scale natural disaster, massive access to communications systems occurred, and the systems lapsed into communications congestion, in the worst cases resulting in system failure. To both mitigate the congestion and prevent system failure, accessibility in general channels for citizens is restricted into 1/in Figure 2. Since the regulation is mainly applied to the telephone call, data communications such as email services might be maintained, even if taking a long delivery time. Meanwhile, prioritized channels have been set up in advance, to maintain connection in a disaster, but the number of the channels is not enough to transmit information from a large-scale damaged areas. Multi-hopping is one solution to extend and maintain the coverage. A technical report of 3GPP, Third Generation Partnership Project, showed a scheme called ODMA, Opportunity Driven Multiple Access, to maintain high data rate in the edges of the coverage by relaying communications, Fig.3. Mobile stations located in the high data rate can access the base station, BS, directly. On the other hand, stations outside of the high data rate cannot maintain the rate. They request a terminal located in the high data rate area to relay their packets. Similar idea was proposed, referred to as MRAC, Multi-Hop Radio Access Cellular, which aims high speed, high capacity and wide area coverage by multi-hopping. In the system, dedicated repeater stations, RS, are set up in a good propagation area, and the stations relay packets between user terminals and BS. In the event that a mobile station detects high propagation loss in the single hop conditions to BS, the station selects a neighboring RS to relay packets. Hereby, MRAC is capable of expanding the coverage. However, since MRAC premise multi-hopping via RS, the restriction of the arrangement of RS reduces flexibility of the system operation. One solution is ad hoc networking, to build a network flexibly. Traffic control by reducing accessibility into 1/in a disaster. Opportunity Driven Multiple Access, ODMA.